2 years ago, I left my first business with hope. A fresh start. A full-time opportunity. The job offer came from someone I'd worked with before. The CEO of a local logistics company. I knew him through a marketing agency gig, and he reached out asking if I'd be interested in running social media and marketing for his company. At first, I was intrigued, but the red flags began early. We'd go weeks without contact. I'd follow up. Crickets. Then, a full month later, he finally responded, ready to meet. I made the 25-minute commute and showed up to his office, waiting in the lobby for 30 minutes. Not the strongest start. In that meeting, I learned that the company, like much of the trucking industry, was struggling. But the salary offer? Tempting. After the financial chaos of self-employment, steady income felt like oxygen. So, I took the job. Day one came and I arrived at work. I got set up, but didn't really get any direction. Whatever, I thought. I'll get my first project tomorrow. Tomorrow came, and I did. I got to work. But over the next few weeks came silence. No check-ins. Meetings with the CEO were scheduled, then canceled. Again and again and again. About a month into the position, they laid off the person I shared an office with. They reassured me that I was safe, but the pit in my stomach was growing. I'd only just started. Was I next? When I did finally sit down with the CEO, he was constantly on the phone. Dozens of calls, back to back. And when I finally got FaceTime, he was multitasking, barely listening. Still, in the rare moments where he was present, he told me my work was great, that he was glad I was there, that he saw me staying long term. And I wanted to believe him. A few months in, our paychecks started coming in late. First a day, then 2, then 5. Employees were quitting, more layoffs followed. The writing was starting to appear on the wall. Check-ins with the CEO became more erratic. I could barely get 30 seconds in before another interruption. He vented about the stress, and I got it. I'd run a business before too. A part of me really did feel for him. He told me he still wanted me there. He could tell I was nervous and tried to reassure me. But then, he went silent. This time, for an entire month. Nothing. I reached out, multiple times. No response. Most days, I sat at my desk, twiddling my thumbs, trying to find something to work on just so I'd feel useful. I wanted to apply for other jobs, but felt weird doing that on company time. What if they saw me? What if I was wrong? Eventually, the CEO reached out. He said the company was in rough shape and needed help creating internal training and documenting processes. No more marketing. Now I'd be a quote-unquote business process improvements manager. Sure, why not? I complied. I wanted to believe this might actually lead somewhere. And honestly, for a bit it did. I led meetings, I uncovered problems, built out process plans, led company-wide trainings. It actually felt like I was making a difference. For the first time, it felt like the chaos might be worth it. Then came that day. HR called me into the CEO's office, something that had never happened before. After the usual 20-minute wait as he took calls, he looked at me and, with a half smile, asked, "So, what do you think of the company's financial position?" I knew where this was going. He asked if I'd been job hunting. I said I'd casually looked but planned to stay. Then I asked him directly, "Do you need to let me go?" To which he responded, "I do, but I don't." Classic. Still, he asked to see my work. He seemed impressed. He said he'd follow up with me in a few days to create a new, clearly defined role. Maybe even a raise, more responsibility, the usual promises. I wasn't convinced. I followed up a few days later. No answer. Followed up again. Still nothing. At that point, I knew it was over. I updated my resume and began preparing for what came next. As expected, about 2 weeks later, HR called me into his office. The CEO told me I was being laid off. No severance, 2 weeks to transition out. And you'd think I'd be furious, misled, hurt. But honestly, I was relieved. Being laid off turned out to be one of the best things that's happened to me. It pushed me to move on, to start fresh. And in the months that followed, I found a new career, one that finally aligns with my goals and values. But the journey taught me some powerful lessons. Lesson number 1, trust your instincts. If it feels off, it probably is. In my case, the red flags were everywhere. I just didn't act on them. Lesson 2, prepare for the worst. I was lucky enough to have savings and collect unemployment, but had it taken even just a month longer to land a new job, I would have run out of money. Lesson 3, stop outsourcing your judgment. Friends and family mean well, but they're not in your shoes. Most told me to stick it out. Only one person said to leave. I should have listened to myself. Lesson 4, behavior is a language. Many people talk a great game, but if they constantly flake, miss meetings, or break promises, you need to believe what their actions are telling you. If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Lesson number 5, don't take jobs that don't align. I took this job because it paid well, not because it matched my vision. That decision cost me time, energy, and peace of mind. This can definitely be hard to do in today's job market, especially if you're early in your career. But, if at all possible, doing so will set you up for a more sustainable long-term career. Getting laid off forced me to pause, reevaluate, and pivot towards something better. And now, I'm on a path that excites me. If you're in a similar spot, confused, stuck, unsure, know that sometimes the setback is the setup. You just have to trust yourself enough to walk through the door. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell notification so you don't miss the next chapter. Until next time.